Hey, before you watch this video, I just want to give a quick shout out to Creational Codes. Creational Codes is a portal dedicated to the findings and services of Grace Crysdale. Here you can find my credentials, services, testimonials, oracle blogs on current events, upcoming and past events, and more. If you found yourself here, I highly encourage you to check out Creational Codes, and I hope you enjoy the video. Love you. Hello, beautiful friends and family. My name is Grace Crysdale. Thank you so much for coming to this video, for joining me today in this discussion all about reclamation of the yin of feminine energy. This will be supportive for you if you are a more masculine oriented person, female or male. You know, the state of the world right now is very much so yang, very much so action, stress, and we're going to be diving into a few different topics today. I'll quickly tell you what those topics are. So for preface, I'm going to quickly go over yin and yang qualities, and then we're going to go into yin, motion, motionless, ease, what the textures of yin are and how we can start to reclaim them in our own lives. Yin Primitive Needs, Yin Yearning, and Yin Healing. So I'm a very masculine oriented female, probably based off of stress response in society's day and age. This could be based as well off of biological, physiological ancestry, based off of your current incarnate family's prefix, like what they are directed and leaning more towards. If it's yin or yang, you might have taken on more yang qualities to balance them out. It's most of the times we structure ourselves based on the environment around us, or all of the time we do that. So these are things we can take into consideration when we start to feel into what we are leaning into. And at the end of the day, we want to come into balance of both of these energies and these textures, because that is where we are fulfilled inside of our hierogrammic templating, is the unionization between feminine and masculine, the yin and the yang. So yeah, let's dive in. First thing I want to get into is the yin and yang qualities. So the yin and yang qualities, well, these words exactly actually come from traditional Chinese medicine or ancient Chinese philosophies. So the yin and the yang represents the masculine and feminine, or water and fire, day and night. They kind of represent the wholeness of the being, of life itself, and then the difference between the polarity contrasts. So how we can perceive this is, you know, this website does a very good job of explaining it, fengshui.com, and they say kind of like, you'll hear yang is more daytime, yin is more nighttime, yang is more sun, yin is more moon, yang is more fire, yin is more water. And these kind of just describe the qualities of these different energies that we have inside of us. All of us have both yin and yang inside of the body, but it is very common for people to get stuck inside of a energy and to kind of loop inside of that, because when we are balanced in both of these yin and yang energies, or these masculine and feminine energies, we are able to actualize the things that we want to in life, or produce more mission-oriented results in our life, to do the things we want to do, to get out of that stressful relationship, to get out of that stressful situation in your life, to provide yourself exactly what you need without kind of needing to get it from someone else. We are meant and biologically and spiritually structured to fulfill ourselves inside of these beautiful bodies. So the yin and the yang kind of just support that processes. So yin and yang as well, and these principles of feminine and masculine, they aren't meant to kind of place us in a box of, you know, even these beautiful vessels, you know, you're not just supposed to be, I am just a female and I only do female things, and that is exactly what I do, and I just am receptive and fluid and flowy, and I just lay at home all day basking in the sun because I'm a female. Like, there are balances, of course, to these bodies that we take on. You know, if you were to do that, you would be kind of just wasting your life away unless you are like basking in the love of God and somehow projecting that into the earth sphere around you, which I'm sure that that person would be doing. But most of us come here with like particular things we want to do, accomplish, and of course society likes to project their own desires and needs upon us of what we should do in this lifetime. I'm not talking about that, but yeah, these two different expressions, they are just the possibilities and the unionization of infinite expansion, infinite possibilities. So let's dive into yin. Yin is very receptive. Yin attracts yang, and these beautiful polarities, they really do call upon one another. And that is the desire, the epicness of this lifetime is that, you know, these two separating magnets, they draw together to create this attraction. That's why, you know, the feminine and the masculine creates the unionization, you know, in partnerships inside of our bodies, in all textures of this life. The yin calls in the masculine. The yin is meant to be very magnetic. She is meant to be very, or yin energy is meant to be very receptive, fluid, flowy, desirable, pleasurable. She kind of works within this magneticism of I am all, because at the end of the day too, the female, the yin, holds the womb space, the creational energy, and that is a very magnetic energy, you know, this creation. So when we work with yin energy, we're working with something that is meant to be effortless, easeful, receptive, creative, artistic, and beautifully expressionate inside of the doing of it. And the doing of it is very yang. So when we work into healing the yin, you know, the traumatization of living in a society that is very much so yang has repressed so much of the true yin qualities. People have become lazy, stagnant, exhausted, anxious, depressed. People don't want to go to work. People no longer support things that that really push fatigue or push these things that people are no longer like, I'm not interested in doing that 12-hour shift. Like, sorry, that's slavery. So what we can do to start healing the feminine is tying in those masculine strands. You can't heal the yin without really noticing and acknowledging your yang energy. And within and for myself, because this is the reason I'm making this video, is that I'm flowing through this myself in the expansion of the yin needs to know that she is safe with the yang holding space for her. She needs to know that she can rest, knowing that the yang has structure in place to make sure that she's getting from A to B. The yin needs to know that she can be creative, be expressionate, and be totally understood and accepted and loved unconditionally. The last 2,000 years or so AD, we've really worked and processed through a lot of the repression of the feminine. Of course, everybody knows this, and that's why the derailed feminist movement that is kind of squashing the hearts of men has rolled through, trying to kind of create this equilateral stance. But the truth is, the female's never going to heal if the masculine is not the protector, is not holding space for her. So saying I don't need you masculine, saying I don't need you yang, is actually not going to cause any true healing or any true balancing inside of what the feminine needs to make sure that she feels safe, she feels nourished, that she feels like she can just relax and bask in bed in the sunlight all day if that's what she feels called to do, because that could be very healing for her. And she is still, and the thing too is that we don't need to be doing something all the time. That's a very yang energy. Honestly, I would say that most people should only be working about 5 hours a day to get results. You know, if we are action oriented, then there can be a fluidity in that I'm doing this right now and this is my structure, this is what I'm doing. Once it's done, I'm relaxing. I am enjoying my life. I'm taking care of myself. I'm with my family, my friends. I'm receiving this abundance. The female is very abundant. She works within the abundant codes. And I've actually been channeling a lot of beautiful information from some goddesses, and they have been explaining to me that the female is the abundance codex. She is luxurious. She is expansive. She is sensual. She is very relaxed in her beingness. And there's no forcing of, I need to do this right now. There's no stress in terms of this masculine, societally pressured, like, you know, when you see the crystal and it's not a crystal until it's been under immense pressure to create that beautiful structuring. That is, that pressure and that beingness is a very active force. It's masculine, and then the feminine is kind of just like, yeah, I'm changing, I'm growing into a butterfly. So the yin doesn't need to be doing things all of the time. She doesn't need the intense structure. In fact, going back to, you know, this AD innerstanding, the woman has, you know, kind of been enforced into this more masculine role. We have kind of lost touch with what the feminine truly is. The feminine does not need to be working out 5 days a week if she's tired. The feminine does not need to be fasting 20 hours a day if she's hungry. The feminine does not need to be working a 9-to-5 job every day, because that fucks with her biological, physiological, spiritual templating of, I am meant to be creating. The female's circadian and energetic expenditure over this span of a day is very different from a male's, and the workforce actually is very much so promoting the masculine energy expenditure, like the activity levels and the spurts of energy that a man gets during the day is reflected in the workforce. Like, they are very active from probably about after breakfast till about 5 p.m. Then they can go out and socialize, relax after dinner, and all of this stuff. There's a lot of studies that talk about this energy expenditure and how society at the moment is not supporting the female's need to rest numerous times throughout the day, especially before bed, especially probably around 3 to 4 p.m. Like, she just needs to come back to herself to relax. The way that society is structured right now is very stressful for the female body, for the body that needs to know that she is nourished and that she can be in ease. Adrenaline and cortisol levels for women, especially the stress hormones that are produced in the body when the fight or flight response is activated, is extremely elevated in the female bodies, especially probably, I would say, all ages, honestly. Postmenopausal, it's probably lesser so because, you know, the hormones become repressed. But if you are an adult woman, you are likely under extreme fight or flight response. She is under immense stress from society. Like I've mentioned throughout this whole video, she's not supported energetically, and as well there are societal and fear-based tactics that kind of repress her sensuality, her creational energy. If the feminine was inside of her luminescence all of the time, the masculine, the wounded masculine would target her to no end. And I think that it's important for men and women to realize that the feminine is really just reawakening out of this traumatization of the physiological body. And I'm going to do a whole video on diets and fads because I feel deeply that all of these new intensive diet fads that are going on right now do not actually support the female body. You know, there's a beautiful TED Talk done by, so this TED Talk was done by Dr. Stacy Sims, and she is a sports therapist, nutritionalist, doctor, who talks about, just the fact that all of these studies that have been done to support fasting, to support, training styles. If you're an athlete, your physiological, biological body as a woman has been fucked with, has been not acknowledged. Women with periods, women with hormonal health needs, the body of the female is meant to support and produce the human, the creation of a human. That is such a beautiful thing, and it's something that we have to acknowledge. I think starting from the time that we get our periods, honestly, and I'm not saying that you should dedicate your whole life to the fact that you're going to have a baby one day, but I'm saying that, we need to take into consideration that maybe it's more likely that men can fast for 20 plus hours, plus do a workout, plus go to their 9 to 5 job, plus socialize with friends afterwards. Like, that is not sustainable for a female body, for the hormones and the adrenaline and the cortisol overload that the female body is already experiencing just living in this society. Period. So the yin needs to allow herself to yearn. It is a very beautiful, very instinctive, very primitive, very physiological, spiritual, biological need, and luxurious. Like, we are so blessed to be in these female bodies, and to have yearnings, to have desires, to have arousal for this life is a beautiful thing. I am so over hearing that it is selfish to eat, that it is selfish to relax, that it is selfish to enjoy self-care, to be confident, to nourish your body and show it off and be beautiful and basking in the presence of that which you are, and be told that you are my throat chakra is acting up because this is truth that is a bit hard to even say out loud for myself. Whew. But this is the truth, family. It is not wrong to know that this life is orgasmic, to know that we are meant to be held and nourished and treated and loved, and that, we are allowed to enjoy the pleasure, the luxury, the abundance of this life. That is such a blessing, especially for the female. We are doing so much. If you're a woman watching this and you feel guilty for allowing yourself to rest, for allowing yourself to eat, for allowing yourself to not work out every day of the week, please take a moment to acknowledge that your body is a blessing, that there are many, many men I know that would attest to this, that the woman's existence, her existence is a blessing to men, to this world, and to all of existence. I'm not saying that we're the center of the universe. I'm not saying that women should not work. I'm not saying that women should not detox and fast at points and all of that stuff. I'm not saying that we should not be on the trajectory of healing, but I'm saying that the woman has been through so much, and if we can just take a moment to appreciate, wow, my ancestors have done so much. They were really hurt, and I'm just gonna love the fuck out of myself. I'm just gonna appreciate myself, appreciate the abundance that is inherent to me, appreciate this creational flow that I am born with, appreciate so much of what is inherently mine, to be able to be loved by another, to be able to be seen as desirable in a safe way. Women shut down their sexuality and their sensuality because it is so targeted. The wounded masculine, which I feel at this point in time we are healing, thank God, she does not feel safe to enjoy her body around a man. And any man that tells you that you are not allowed to express yourself sexually, goodbye. Goodbye. See you never. Like, we are meant to be orgasmically. Our presence is glorious, is luxurious, is abundance. And I'm not saying this life is about sex. I'm not saying this life is about being sexually attractive or active or anything like that, but I'm saying the essence of our being. Orgasmic sensual energy is not just about the act of sex. It's actually about the receptivity of creation, the ease and flow and energy of creation, which is all of these traits and tributes that contribute to literally orgasms. Okay, so there's that. If you are interested in, these energies, I highly recommend you look into yoni health, tantra. Some tantra practices, philosophies are quite corrupt. I'm not one to promote multiple partners, sex all day, every day. That's not my thing. I highly encourage you to listen to your intuition, to what your body needs, to what your body is here to do, to be, to support, to love, to embody, to heal in the planetary collective consciousness. And I would act on that and be in that and allow yourself to flow through the pains of why can't I be this? And from that state, we can start to heal it. There can be a lot of beautiful process things that can occur through journaling, reading healing books on female hormonal health, female sexuality, sensuality, the desecration of females on the planet, and as well as a bunch of other things you can look up. So much. It's not about squashing the man, it's about raising the feminine so that we're both equal, so that we can come into yin and yang, unionization, hierogamic presence inside of the being, an embodiment of self in this healing way. So some things you can do to support the healing of the yin, the feminine energy in the body, the goddess, is you can start eating again. Number 1, eat food. Yay! Which sounds so ridiculous. I choose to support people who choose to fast during their days, if you're a male especially. And really, I just want to bring attention to the fact that, men and female have different bodies. Okay, so please, when you're choosing to take on a diet, look at the research done, look at the studies done, listen to your intuition, listen to not the ego or the weight loss plan or, the benefits based on studies that you haven't even looked into, which are mostly based on white adolescent males in the US. So yeah, let's come back into, I'm allowed to eat during the day. It doesn't mean I have to eat all day and not support my body's natural detoxing process when it does fast overnight, or starting my day with lemon water if that's what I feel called to do, or taking detoxes to support the liver and the kidney and the gallbladder and the colon and all of this stuff. I'm so into that. But let's also look into minerals. Let's look into hormonal balancing foods. Let's look into, mineral rich and nutrient dense foods that really support us. Get off of the grease, get off of the GMOs, the MSG, which you can see and hear everywhere. So just, come into the embodiment of, I want to take care of me. It's not about what everyone else is telling me to do. It's not about biohacking the male body inside of my female body. It's about, this is just what I'm really into right now. And it's how can I support my hormones, my minerals, the balancing of detoxing, the balancing of allowing this body to feel so safe inside of this vessel that she's ready to have a baby, and that she's gonna have the cutest, healthiest baby. Okay, I don't know why I'm into that right now, but I just love it. So exciting. If the woman is abundant, held luxuriously, gnostically involved in her worth and her value, she will provide for the whole community. The love that the woman receives does not stay just with the woman. She is inherently giving. So honor yourself, honor what you need. I highly recommend this book called Mother Hunger. It has really changed my life, honestly. It talks all about you know, this our attachments, and it works with attachment theory and how, you know, sometimes we get involved with these negative addictions or patternings, when really we just need to go back to that maternal love, that nourishment that the female body needs, that the baby needs, that the child needs to grow up knowing that they are held and loved so deeply that they can just take on anything in life and know that they are worthy of it. It's written by Kelly McDaniel, and she's a licensed professional counselor and author, and it's a very, very beautiful book. So yeah, highly recommend that. Highly recommend you do your own research. Highly recommend that you like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for walking, enjoying, and sitting with me here on this conversation. I know that I can get a bit passionate, a bit heated, a bit fiery. If you would like to leave your own perspectives and opinions in the comments below, I would love to hear. I'm also going to do a Yang video at some point, because that is what I'm well versed in. I'm kind of just coming into this Yin, and that's why I feel so passionate about it, I think, because I've just been like, where has this been all my life? So yeah, much love.